Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another Digimon video. So today I'm going to be doing a case opening, and it's going to be a case opening of BT12 Across Time. So this is going to be a pretty hyped and interesting set because it's following the events of Season 3 of the anime in terms of Cross Wars, and it's going to have and feature all of the protagonists leading up to the current protagonist, at least in the show, as of that time period. So there's just a lot of excitement for the set, a lot of really powerful and fun things. So let's just dive right in and see what we get. So if anyone's unfamiliar with how I usually do case openings, I'll take the first box really slow just so you can kind of get a good feel and see what a booster box is like, and then I'm going to start speeding it up from there, just because a case has 12 Digimon booster boxes in it, and that's just a lot of packs. I believe it's like 288 packs to be going through, and then at the end, I'll be doing a case ratio breakdown to kind of see where things fall in terms of what I was able to pull inside of a booster case, inside of a case of Digimon. So, let's start off with the first booster box. Oops, already cut into it. Off to a great start. Alright, Mr. Trash Bag, you're gonna be my best friend today. So, inside of a booster box, we actually get 2 box toppers. We get an Across Time, basically foil card. So it's going to be one of the protagonist or hunters Digimon in nice foil. Plus there's a chance of getting an Alt Art Omnimon inside of this pack. And then the other box topper is going to be of the security rookies that we've been waiting about 2 to 3 sets for. And we finally get them in the game. So I will be opening all of these as well, because sometimes the boxes are kind of seeded in terms of the randomization when it comes to these packs as well. So I'll open those towards the end. Before I get started, let me just have both of you going. There we go. Now I can see everything. Alright, so first card is going to be Wizardmon, Growlmon, Mikemon, Gokumon, Swimmon, Pyro Dragon, Potatomon, or Podamon, Aegisdramon, Sephirothmon, Gigimon, Metalgreymon, and Dino-Beamon as the rares. So, uncommon, common. So, there is also a chance at a super high rarity card, and it's going to be either a Silver Darkness Bagremon, or it's going to be a Gold Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior. So we got a first super rare, which is going to be Wargreymon. So Wargreymon is a fantastic card to upgrade and update the Blackwargreymon deck or the Wargreymon X deck, just because they're playing with virtually the same type of cards, just utilizing lots of good Greymon-based synergies. So, Ebby Burgermon, Otamon, Zenimon, Itmon X, a lot of the starter deck cards from starter deck 14, the Beelzemon deck, they're really going to like the Itmon X line that's going to be inside of the set. I think like a good budget deck is just getting those cards, like getting that starter deck, and then just upgrading it with some of the cards in here. And then you're pretty much almost there at a competitive ready deck outside of like a booster box and a starter deck. And because a lot of the cards are low rarity, you don't necessarily need to chase super hard. I think Beelzemon X, most decks only use like 2 of them anyway. So if you get a alt art version and a normal version out of one booster box, you should pretty much be good to go. Considering most of the cards are low rarity, so they should be either really cheap or easy to get. No, I don't need any trash posts. I've been doing pretty okay. Second SR is Gallantmon, another protagonist Digimon, which is pretty good considering Gallantmon just seems to be the deck that keeps on giving. Bandai just loves supporting this deck for whatever reason. He didn't get a whole lot of support at the beginning. He had like a evolution line, and then after his starter deck, he literally got like set after set after set of support. And the support is not stopping until, like, BT14. Just because EX4, he gets, EX4, he gets another, evolution line in the two-color pairing of red-purple. It's more prominently focused on Chaos Gallant. That's kind of the whole gimmick. But all of that stuff works relatively well inside of Gallantmon as well. Then in BT13, he gets another whole evolutionary line of support. So he's looking to be pretty spicy of a deck to pick up. He hasn't really done a whole lot competitively, but the fact that he's very well supported just means that there's a lot of tools to sift through and try to figure out which ones are the best ones. So far, nothing too crazy or different compared to your normal booster boxes. I know with BT11, they had the campaign rares that were kind of funking up the distribution on the lower rarity cards. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but this set so far is looking like it is a normal booster set. The next SR is Ourymon Fighter Mode. Ourymon Fighter Mode does get technically two evolutionary lines, taking a good portion of green and blue in this set. And even though, like, a lot of the new cards kind of seem like it wants to take the deck in a new direction, it still works with the old cards as well, so it's nice to see that that deck is getting an upgrade and update as well, just to be able to have a whole bunch of extra tools to be able to deal with stuff. Quartzmon. Now, this is going to be a super hot, super rare, just because of how many decks he can go into and how good of a card he is. So he has, like, he's a level 7 in green, so green didn't have really a good level 7 until now, especially one that's in color. Then he digivolves off of black, white, and green, on top of being able to be used inside of the Young Hunters deck, which is going to be a relatively self-contained deck inside of the set. I'm going to do a little experiment here and see exactly how many booster boxes it takes to be able to build a Hunter's deck. I think, like, the answer is probably about 2 to 4, depending on your luck and your pulls, considering most of the cards are relatively low rarity, and you only need, like, 2 Quartzmon and 4 of the aegisdramon superior mode. So that's going to be a really easy deck to make for a lot of new players looking to get into the game, on top of just a cheap deck, because you don't need a whole lot of outside cards from this set, and you don't need a whole lot of expensive cards in terms of high rarity. Come on. Bosumon, Spiking Strike, Footmon, Geogray. I kind of do like the fact that every time we've seen the hybrids, they keep changing how they're doing hybrids and how the hybrids work between human and beast form. So I think they're trying to find like a sweet spot that's not like as overpowered as what it was in BT7, but not like so underpowered that they're like unplayable. And between the two new hybrid lines and the new red hybrid stuff, I think hybrids are looking to be in a pretty good spot as well. Aegisdramon, yeah, he's an uncommon. Oh, that's a rare. I almost thought that was a higher rarity card. So far, we got 4 out of the expected 7 hits, and no super or no secret or alt art yet. So, unfortunately, I don't really think that the villains or the rivals are going to be super great of a deck to play. But they do have some like good cards that the protagonists generally use anyway inside of their deck. But I think with like all of the cross synergy and cross support, not like cross as in the mechanic, just cross as in CROSS, this seems to be like it's going to be a pretty fun and interesting pre-release, just because there's just a lot of like viable strategies that you could potentially try to make out of it. So you could kind of gauge off of this one booster box, like what your likelihood of seeing what generally is. Most of the time you're going to see like almost a full playset of a common in a booster box, like 2 to 3 of any given uncommon, 1 to 2 of any given rare, and then you're obviously not going to see one of every super or secret. Hey, alt art's Blackwargreymon. That's pretty dope. So we got our first alt art. Although I should have prepared my sleeve box so I could sleeve these up. But so far, nothing funky happening here. I wonder if we're going to see a second alt art or if we are going to see a actual secret. I think this set might have a little bit on the higher side in terms of alt arts. So I don't know if that's going to eat away at some of the secrets, or if the secrets are still going to have the same usual prevalence that they normally have. Hey, Greymon. Greymon is actually in a pretty interesting spot in this set. Like, he has a deck that they obviously want to start forming with him inside of this set, and then support that style with a lot of the EX4 and BT13 stuff. But, like, you could technically play him now and utilize some of his tools. I've been, like, theory crafting the deck, and it's definitely has a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm just trying to, like, figure out what is the more optimal stuff to be using at this given time. But he does have a lot of, like, tech and tools just from the old stuff compared to pair it up with the new stuff, pair it up with hybrids. Like, it just seems like it's going to be a really fun and interesting deck. But it just means that you have more sets to look forward to if you're thinking about investing in that set. All Force X Antibody, this definitely feels like their usual trend, where they'll have like the core cards out of a deck in one set, and then sprinkle in a little bit of support here and there. So this All Force X Antibody is supposed to play around with and interact with the playstyle of the BT11, but they didn't obviously want to put all of the cards in there, so that way it gives people incentive to think and look at this set. So that's kind of why, like, he seems really out of place, and that's kind of why. But it's cool that he's a card, and it's cool that we have him. I know All Force is a pretty solid deck, and he's a fan favorite of a lot of people. So we did get a secret, and it's Cross 7 Superior Mode. That's a pretty good secret. I think compared to Darkness of Agremon, it is easily the more playable secret. Just because Cross is still good. Cross gets a little bit of support here. So that way, Cross is still going to be a viable deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the last 2 packs shouldn't have anything super spicy or exciting about them. But it's still just fun opening up cards anyway. So this is kind of where you just need to be careful and be aware of like buying loose boosters online. Because if I was a scummy seller, theoretically, I opened up all the good stuff. I know these packs don't have anything, so I could just toss them into a pile and have that pile basically make up the bulk packs that I could sell knowing that there's not anything good in them. So I would 100% be wary if you're thinking about buying loose packs, and just advise not to. On top of advising not to do pre-order prices, just because a lot of the market, in terms of trends, is pretty solved. So a lot of the cards won't have as much value when the set releases because of how like TCG Player and other places work, where it is a race to the bottom. So a race to the bottom basically just means that the lowest price generally will win. So, and by win, I mean take the sale. So the more sellers you have actively trying to make sales, the lower and cheaper prices of cards go, especially if that card has a lot of stock inside of the secondary market. So when people say just don't buy pre-order, that's kind of what they mean by it, is because there's no reason to buy it during pre-order season. Unless you just feel like throwing away the extra money. Just for the safetiness of knowing you're going to be getting the card. And then, like, there are those fringe cases where it actually works out in your favor. Most of the time that's going to be on the secrets. Is you don't know how certain secrets will spike. But most of the time that's not necessarily during the launch of the set. So take out the 2 box toppers. I'll set them here. Alright, so now we're going to start going a little bit faster. How many Emperor Greymons have I got? I, so far, have opened up 1 box. We are on box number 2, and I have pulled 1 Emperor Greymon. So, I have 1. I'll put the special cards at the bottom. So, now that we're in box 2, I'm going to start opening things a bit faster. But it's cool to see all of, like, the theming of the set take hold and take shape inside of it. That might be a clump. We'll have to be aware of clumping. Clumping is usually still an issue. I stopped pointing it out, but most of the time clumps are case dependent, not necessarily set dependent. So there's just going to be a lot of really interesting things looking forward to for the BT12 meta. Just because we know that Greymon is a little bit slower than it normally would be. So it's still going to be a viable deck, 100%. If anyone's thinking Greymon is not going to be viable, they're silly. But it's just going to be a tad slower. Hey, another Quartzmon. Because the X-Antibody card just lets the deck move basically a turn faster. But now that we have this new Greymon line, the deck catches up in speed just because now we don't Evo for 4 and we can Evo for 3, and if we use the evolutionary line correctly, we could theoretically Evo for 2 or even as little as 1 still, which just puts us about on speed with a lot of other decks that want to tempo into their big boss monster. If not, still be a little bit faster. You just won't be able to do that hyper consistently. But as far as like other really meta decks, I think that the new red hybrids and the direction that they want to take red hybrids from the set, I think that's going to be really, really good. Part of the big problem was the fact that getting cards into your trash was a little bit hard because that's something red generally doesn't do. And red in this set for red hybrids kind of helps fix that problem. On top of the fact that you have, hey, a second Emperor Greymon. You have a recursive way to be able to use and reuse your tamer. And that is like the lifeblood of hybrid decks is your tamers and how easy you can set them up and how much they can stick around. So I think like red hybrids is still going to be good. I think that's based on a lot of like North American prevalences or like English tendencies. I think like Imperial has a shot. It's not necessarily the best shot, but just because a lot of people bought the starter deck, a lot of people really still like the DNA stuff, and the fact that it's still viable might mean that there's going to be enough people looking to experiment with it to see where they can take that type of a deck, especially with all of the new tools, to be able to have something competitive for Imperial Dramon. I think, like, the new theme and the old theme, in terms of, like, their sub-theme, is on the conflicting side, because, for whatever reason, the new stuff for XVmon wants to, like, trash sources, and XVmon's never really done that before. Hey, Altart, Tigeru. And XVmon's never really done that before, and he's been more about, like, jamming and restanding. So it's going to be really interesting to see where people take the Imperial Dramon deck. Just because I think, like, the new way that they want to play, utilizing their options to essentially play the Digimon for the cheaper cost, instead of the Digimon relying on a Digimon to make that happen, is definitely an interesting alternative way. Because the whole point of DNA decks is to set up the DNAs. So you're most likely still going to have a Digimon in Raising, and then you're going to try to essentially use the option is the way they want you to use it. But it just, again, adds more tools to the toolbox. Watchmaker. Watchmaker's a pretty good card for the Hunter deck. He's not a Hunter, but he just increases the damage output, and he's a good, like, searcher tool. Which consistency is always good. Yeah, this Agumon is when things start getting a little crazy, just because of how strong the Agumons already are, and then the fact that this set just makes Agumons stronger is just kind of interesting, because you have two Agumon lines that you could use, so you could kind of splash them a little bit into each other as well. So, like, unfortunately, with the limitation on Greymon X Antibody, it kind of hurts Shine a little bit, just because Shine right now doesn't have the proper level 4s that it wants to use. So it uses that card to act as just a good way to tempo up into your high-level Digimon. Because he reduces the cost by any Greymon by 2. So it means you generally will go into your level 5 for essentially 2. Because you're going, like, the new one has the alternative Digivolution cost to reduce it to 3 if you're using it on top of a Geo Greymon, but because you're not and it's Greymon X Antibody, it just is a straight up -2 instead of a -1 to his base cost. So that's how a lot of Japanese people were using it, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's fine, because it just means that we're forced to try to do something a little bit different. Whether that's better or worse is to be determined, but it's still kind of exciting to see what people come up with. And I've been doing a lot of deck building and theory crafting as well. So if anyone is interested on some BT12 decks, I'm going to try pretty much covering as many BT12 decks as I possibly can on the channel. So stay tuned if I have not posted any more that you're interested in, just because I will eventually cover it. I usually start with the main decks. Hey, there we go. aegisdramon Superior Mode. So before I put this one away, I'm going to see, like, low rarity wise, how many cards I'm in with the core of the deck. Hey, Beelzemon X Antibody. There we go. Yeah, and then Shine gets lots of good support in the next couple of sets. A lot of these decks still kind of do get support. Maybe not Cross Hearts, but some of the other decks get support. Gallant gets support, Greymon gets support, Shine gets support. All Force kind of gets some support. There's no more Beelzemon support, but I think the deck is, like, already really strong as is. And it's still, like, one of the best decks in Japan right now. I don't think Hunters, outside of a promo, gets any more support, but that's okay because, Hunters is already going to be a really strong deck, and the fact that you could pretty much make it out of just the set alone is really nice. So I think, like, going and starting the game, this is kind of a decent set. Darkness Bagremon, another secret rare. Nice. How many SRs are in a box? So far, 7 is back to the usual trend. Out of my first box, I got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Box 2 also had 7. So I already know these packs don't have anything good, so we could just skip right to the end fun bit. So Clockmon and Dino Beamon. I actually think this Dino Beamon's pretty good. He is not bad. So we're back to normal booster box ratios. We're not doing anything funky inside of the set in terms of, like, playing around with the distribution of the cards. So this is going to be a pretty good set in my opinion. This is going to be a pretty hot set just because of how much, like, fanfare was in that season of Digimon and is reflected inside of the set. This Greymon is, like, absolutely insane in the Greymon deck, just because it's setting up your tie for free, and then you could use that tie to go right into your level 5 to then go into your level 7. Like, this in the tie is going to be, like, super important for the Greymon deck going forward. It's really interesting. This card is a free and in armor form. So this card works with the armor-based cards. So this card could have some really fun applications and implementations, even though it's meant for the Hunters deck. So let's go, before I move on, let's leave these bad boys up. I actually love the look of these tamers. I think these tamers are absolutely banger. I would have rather had the alt art tamers be the box topper than what they did here and just make some of the cards foil, but to each their own. So let's go ahead and pull out some of the core cards to the Hunters deck to kind of gauge roughly how many booster boxes you would need to be able to make Hunters. I think the answer is probably going to be about 3 to 4. Just because right now, I only have one of each of the rare tamers, and you'd need at least 3 to 4 of them. At least 4 Taiki, and then you could kind of get away with 3 on some of the others. But, like, theoretically, you could start building something, because Hunters has a lot of filler cards. Oh, he's an uncommon. Okay. And then the Digi-Egg. Superior. Yeah, because, like, you get some good filler cards in case you don't exactly see everything that you need. You could play around with some of the other tech and tools that it has access to. Usually going to want about 2 or 3 of him. 2, 3, or 4 of him. So I'm not going to be building the full deck. This is just more for the thought experiment. Because the focus is on the case opening. So I got 3 of some of the uncommons. But 2 of pretty much almost most of the uncommons. So you could start theoretically building the deck off of about 2 booster boxes. But I think 3 to 4 is going to be the recommended number. Unless you just buy the singles, and then you don't need to worry about any of that. Because as you can see, the vast majority of the deck is in low rarity. So that is the close of box number 2. Yeah, plus you also can get some of the parts and pieces with the box topper as well to try to help flesh things out. So it's going to be a really easy deck to make. And I know people like opening booster boxes. So it's a fairly achievable goal. It's one of the few times Digimon actually has done, like, self-contained decks inside of booster sets, and they're starting to do it more and more. At least, like, have one deck that you could build out of the cards in the booster box. So, I definitely think that's nice to be able to allow people to have access at least at something playable right away if they invest enough inside of the set, or just get, like, a booster box or 2 and then buy singles of the rest. Even though Bandai doesn't make any money off of the singles, they do get money off of the booster boxes. Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta read followers. Eosmon, Enemy of Bonds, thank you for the follow. And, Senpai Trucks, or Senpai Tux, thank you for the follow. Let's go Alpha. So I could start speeding this up. I think now that we have, like, a good alternative Grand Kawagamon, they could ban the promo. They're not going to, obviously. But, just because it hasn't... Ugh, that was a hard pack. It hasn't really been that big of a problem in Japan. So, I think Grandest players are pretty safe. But, like, for color-locked only events, and if they do decide to limit that going forward for those color-locked events, you do have a secondary Grand Kawagamon that you could use that's actually decent. So, I don't know if that's going to be the trend going forward with Ultimate Cups, is they pick basically just a rule set at the beginning of the year and carry it through. Rumor has it that is going to be the trend, and then swap up the rule set every year. But that is neither confirmed nor denied, so take that with a grain of salt. That is just my perspective and opinion. But it'll be, unfortunately, like, Hunters is borderline unplayable in monocolor. You could kind of cobble something together, actually, but it's not going to be, like, super insane. And if you do, it's probably going to end up being purple-based. just because the main egg is purple. All of the good pieces are purple because the Gumdramon line is purple, and then the Gabumon is purple. You do have a mono you could use, although that matters less because you're not playing Shoutmon King version. But he does have some pretty good synergy and interaction with the Hunters stuff, so that could be pretty fun and interesting. Hey, aegisdramon number 2. So I was looking at some of the pre-sale stuff for the set, and it actually is kind of funny seeing kind of how wrong the sellers have a read on the game. Like, when I was looking it up, aegisdramon was like maybe $6 and was one of the cheaper SRs. I'm just like, are they crazy? Hunters being a deck you could build right out of the box needs superior mode because it's like their best level 5, and the fact that you need 4 of him and he was the cheapest SR made absolutely 0 sense to me. So I'm just like, whatever, guys. Not saying you should still buy pre-order. I'm just saying, like, it was just funny seeing their read on the market kind of wrong. But yeah, if anyone invests in, like, a Greymon deck now, I think that's a pretty safe investment, just because we already know in BT14, Greymon's going to be getting more support. I don't know exactly to what extent and how good it's going to be, if it's going to interact with the new, like, be a new thing, or if it's going to have some synergy with the old stuff. But I definitely think, like, investing in protagonist cards is usually the safest thing that you could do in this game as of right now, just because the level of support they've seen versus others has been slightly higher. Hey, Gallantmon! And, like, it's not saying that villain decks kind of suck. Most of the time, they're more gimmicky, and they are obviously less supported, because the thing about Digimon is they look at a lot of the lore around the Digimon themselves and build based off of the lore. If a Digimon doesn't have a whole lot of lore, there's not really much to build off of, especially, like, if the Digimon's not super popular. It's just like, well, what are we actually doing with this card then? Or, like, with this Digimon? So it puts, like, certain Digimon in a really bad spot in terms of, like, hoping and seeing it gets support, but there's still just a lot of, like, lore that they can go through when it comes to some of the support. Because right now in this set, they just finished up Cross Wars, but they still have some Cross Wars cards that they didn't even touch. So, like, as an example, there's a couple of other Shoutmon cross forms that they still can go back to and just throw it in as, like, a random support card, just to be like, yeah, we didn't forget about the Shoutmon deck or the Cross deck. So they do leave some things open to be able to revisit and go back to in the future. But some of the cards in the set are, like, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, a lot of the mechanics are based off of the lore of the cards. So, like, the whole DNA aspect, putting and fusing two Digimon, I think, like, when we initially first saw it, it definitely wasn't exactly there yet. And then when they reworked it in, like, BT8, and what it is today with the whole DNA Digivolution thing, I think, like, that's kind of what they generally do. When it comes to, like, revisits. Like, we've seen with hybrids, they've redone how human to beast forms have worked 3 times already. Or technically twice already. The first time they just completely ignored it, and they were like, yep, this is just the beast form, this is the human form. Then they had it where they digivolved for 1 on top of any level 4, and then you get a benefit for digivolving on top of a hybrid. And now you have, they can digivolve for 0 on top of their other form, or for 1 on top of their other specifically named form. Yeah, so like Lunamon and this one, they could digivolve on top of each other. This one digivolves on top of this for 0. This digivolves on top of this for 1, just because it's a little bit of a stronger card. And it still wants you to do that. Uncommon. Ooh, Altar Gallantmon. This looks dope. So, like, the fact that he's, like, fighting Beelzemon in the art is really flavorful, just because Guilmon and Beelzemon have a history with each other. So it's nice to see that stuff reflected not only in just some of the effects, but in the card art as well. Because, like, the earliest rendition of Gallantmon wanted to have the opponent have lots of things in their trash. And Beelzemon, as we know it, wants to fill up its trash as much as possible. So it's just like, okay, it's playing, Beelzemon's playing to its strengths, but Gallantmon is taking advantage of its strengths. So it creates this really interesting, like, flavor to mechanical dynamic that I don't necessarily see in a lot of other card games. Like, I was playing Magic, and like, they just have lore excerpts at the bottom of the card and featured in the art, but, like, that's not necessarily half the time what the card is even doing, or what the card is about. Whereas in Digimon, most of the time, they are feeding off of each other. Which, as a Digimon fan, since the first show, yeah, because I never got into the V-Pets, but since the first show, like, I've watched every season of Digimon, I've read a couple of the manga, played a lot of the video games. As you have seen with my channel, I put up a whole playthrough, my first playthrough of Survive. So if you're interested in checking out Survive, feel free. I'm waiting for a Survive set, and I'm waiting for the Survive promos to be better distributed. I'm hoping that they are. So I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one should have a super rare, one should have the other secret / alt. So these are going to be some exciting last 2 packs. How are the pulls? Right now, the pulls are about exactly what I'd expect out of a normal booster box, which is exactly what I like. So far, nothing absolutely insanely spicy, but they haven't been complete butt. So here's a Darkness Bagremon, so there's the secret. Because BT11, those pull rates were so bad. It was pretty, like, and I had a very similar feeling with BT7 as well. Like, when they do these, like, campaign rares and throw them inside of the set, it just throws, like, just the inclusion of them throws the balance of the set's distribution so off. It's like, almost comedically sad. Because I remember we were complaining with BT7 that the rares were harder to pull, and they were, and the rares were actually pretty needed, and this time in BT11, it was even worse. And you were shorted a super rare, and it was just not a very enjoyable set to open. This set so far, based on the, this is box number 3, it's a much, we're back to normal, and I like their normal. So right now, secret-wise, I'm 2 Bagra, Darkness, and 1 Cross 7 Superior. No alt arts of them, just base arts. And then I got an alt art Tagaru, alt art Wargreymon, and alt art Gallantmon. So far, so good. So we're hitting into box 4 territory. So after box 4, I could kind of look and gauge my supers to kind of see, like, out of 4 boxes, I mean, reasonably out of 4 boxes, you're going to be short, like, 1 super out of a full playset. But if you get lucky, you could get your desired super out of 4 boxes. 4 boxes just guarantees you're going to see 4 of all of the rares and below, which is why, like, 4 boxes is usually pretty safe. But you could probably get away with, like, 3 boxes. Especially if you're building hunters. I think you could easily just get away with 3 boxes and just buy the rest of the aegisdramons. Because if you pull your 2 quartzmons, you're pretty much already almost done with your supers. And then this set needs 0 secrets. Yeah, I know the set has the chance at a, like, super high rarity card, either a silver Darkness Bagremon or a gold a gold 7 superior. Speaking of 7 superior and blanking on his name, here he is. So that's a good start to this booster box. Oh. There was something shiny, but there's always something shiny at the back. I don't have to go slow. Bam. I keep forgetting that both cards are foil. I actually like the fact that the rares are foil. I don't particularly care for the lower rarity cards being foil, ruining the distribution rates. I think that was a pretty poor decision. Like, yeah, I understand that some people really like foil, but I generally don't like foils too much just because I know all foils curl. Like, all of them. And for that reason, I don't like playing with foils, is because I don't want my cards to curl and for me to be in question. So I will always try to go with the not foil version of cards if that option is available to me. So in the the errata pack, what's the pack called? Revisions pack. That's it. I definitely will be using some of those cards because not only do I like having the cards not in foil, I also like having the cards with the correct text. So the revisions pack is like a huge win-win for me. And I'm super... Hey, aegisdramon. Nice. And I'm super excited to open the revisions pack. I have about 10 revisions packs to open from my LGS. So they did get revisions packs in. It wasn't exactly 1 per box, but I got almost 1 per box. Hey, Imperial. So, not that I was, like, shorted on them, because they gave me some other stuff in compensation. I do have some pre-release packs as well to open up. So, I could open up those. Or I can save those for Gallantmon. For my tournament series that I've been doing. I've been hosting tournaments on Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much when I'm not participating in an event is when I'll run tournaments. So it might be weekly, it might be bi-weekly, or it might be monthly. It just depends on how many Bandai events I participate in. Just because I don't want to, like, play an event and then burn myself out from Digimon and get really tired and then try to host an event. I could, but I want to save myself the mental fortitude when it comes to trying not to overdo it. So if anyone is interested in participating in those tournaments, feel free to find a way to hop into my Discord, and then just DM me when you see signups for a tournament are live. I cap it at 8 players just to keep it on the smaller side, so that way events don't last forever. It'll always be 3 rounds, so that way you can kind of actually schedule it and fit it within your time. If it does fit in your time. The Imperial? Yeah. So the Dragon mode is a rare in the set. And the Fighter mode is the SR in the set. So I think, like, also, if you don't have the starter deck, this is a good way to be able to attempt to build the Imperial DNA, just because you get both full evolution lines and a brand new set of DNA Digimon. So I think, like, they're just trying to make the game more accessible, and I really do like sets like this. I think update sets are pretty good, because they're either going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to make the game more accessible, or they're going to just make the game less accessible because you need a lot more of the other parts and pieces. And I think, like, with the way this set works more specifically, you definitely can get away with less of some of the other parts and pieces. Versus something like BT9, where that was almost a full-blown, like, you do just borderline need other cards from other sets to be able to play anything from that. Marcus and Ty. So I think the pre-release is going to be pretty interesting. I have yet to play the pre-release as of the recording of this video, but I've done my homework on the pre-release, and I think it's actually going to be one of the better sealed experiences. Most of the time, I don't actually enjoy the sealed experience, just because if there's not enough defensive like mechanics in the set, I just play Rookie Rush and I just win, just because I know to play Rookie Rush. But I think, like, because of cards like Yakimon, because of cards like Damemon and Tawarmon, the fact that they give anything with save in their text, the blocker ability, just adds to the overall defensive forms of gameplay to not necessarily make Rookie Rush as prominent and viable of the strategy. So I think it's going to be a really interesting experience from that point of view. Some of the cards are just kind of, like, bad, but they're not, like, awful. For sealed. Like, Wizardmon X Antibody is a terrible sealed card. Because when you Digivolve into it, you're milling yourself. You already don't want to mill yourself in that limited of a format, especially if you can't take advantage of it. Which you can't. There's no Wizardmon in the set, so you can't even use his his special Digivolution condition. And then you could use his inheritable, but all it's doing is just trashing more cards, which is something you don't want to do. So, like, there are just some of those cards where it's just like, yeah, this is obviously not a limited card. Which I highlighted nicely in my video. But I think, like, there's not a whole lot of, like, those types of duds in the set. And there's a good amount of memory fixing tamers, on top of just ways to gain memory utilizing the tamers and the save mechanic. So I think, like, it's going to be a pretty fun sealed experience. And I probably will make a sealed experience video whenever I play in my pre-release or pre-releases. Depending on how hard I need to go on this set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have an alt art or super rare out of these 4 packs to go. As far as the spice. Ooh, alt art's Emperor. That looks actually pretty dope. Wow, he looks good. Alright, so these last 2 packs won't have anything fun in them. You're jealous. The big question is how many of them I see. Because most of the time when I look at normal booster cases, or like set cases, I usually get about 1 of every alt art, and I get about a full playset of every secret. I get roughly about 2 to 2.5 playsets of any given SR, and then obviously the lower rarity cards I get like a whole bunch of. Which I usually just give out at locals if anyone is looking to build the deck and try to just have a good time. I'll try to help them as much as I possibly can. So right now I am 2-2 on the Cross 7 Superiors to the Darkness Bagras. No special super extra secret foil yet, if I am going to get one. But we could always cross our fingers and hope to see one. Come on. The fun part is going to be putting all of the commons in 4 rows and condensing all of these boxes down. That's going to be the fun part, is the cleanup. I probably will need to go tomorrow to get more 4 rows. Just because I should be 4 rowing... instead of like 1 or 2 rowing the uncommons and rares. I also need to sort through my like bulk to see if there's actually any like played cards and separate the played bulk cards to the not played bulk cards and then just off the not played bulk. Because there is a difference between played bulk and not played bulk. Alright, so this time around, I'm just going to skip straight to the back of the pack. I'm not even going to humor the flipping. Not to just try to, like, speed run this or anything, but I think we've seen enough of the commons and uncommons and rares. Hey, Greymon! Heck yeah. Greymon is the first SR of box 5. Yes, box 5. Oh, oops, sorry if I hit the mic and caused a little kerfuffle. Ray Ivory, thank you for the resub. That is very generous of you. 7 months, wow. Right now, as far as podcast status, I'm going to try to have Nako be ready, or hope that he's ready by the end of the month to revive the podcast. He did experience content creator burnout, even though it was limited to just the podcast. He just needed a break. So I wanted to make sure that he was in a good, healthy state. And I don't want to, like, force him to do anything he's not super comfortable with. So I do apologize for the podcast being on hiatus. Hey, 7 Superior. Nice. So I do apologize for that. But he just wanted to try to take a break, maybe figure out a way to up the production value. I think I sent him, like, intros we could try to, like, use as far as, like, music edits. So, I need to have another conversation with him about that. As far as, like, when the actual return date is. I think he's, right now, don't quote me, leaning more towards, like, after, not this week, but next week. So when the set pretty much comes out, I think he's going to be jumping back in. But I do appreciate everyone who listens to the podcast, because I have fun making the podcast just as much as you have fun listening to the podcast. Hey, tamers coming together. There's actually a lot of tamers in this set. Like, I think it's more than your usual set. Hey, Chaos. I really wish we had Chaos X Antibody one set earlier. It kind of falls in that same, like, category as All-Force, where this just feels really out of place, and it's only in here just because they did support these decks or, like, make these decks better in the previous set. Which they have done in the past, so it's not like it's uncharacteristic. It's just always funny that it just feels like there's just, oh, here's the themed Digimon, and then here's the hodgepodges. Dmar XZ, thank you for the follow. I hope I didn't butcher your name too badly. I separate them, the commons and uncommons, just because it makes, like, searching for cards easier. I could go the extra mile and, like, actually sort and organize them, but most of the time this is about as far as I go. So I have a whole bunch of 4 rows that are just full of nothing but commons. I need to eventually do the same with nothing but uncommons. And it is just for organization in terms of finding stuff. It's just like, okay, was this a common or an uncommon in the set? So it limits my searches when I'm doing, like, deck building stuff. Plus, you could also, like, gauge, like, how many commons to uncommons there are. So, there is benefits to separating them. Like, I technically don't, but part of my OCD doesn't let me, like, not do it. So I'm curious to see if the alt arts, because I think there was an increase in alt arts, if they're going to follow the same, like, pull rates as in the past, where I usually get one of each of them. And if that is true, it still boggles my mind that the alt arts aren't more expensive. Like, yes, there technically is the base version of the card, but the fact that, like, you would get, like, one of this specific alt per case is like, oh, this card's actually kind of that rare. Where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got one of these and one of these left to find. Hey, a second Gallimon alt art. Nice. I can't wait to update my Gallimon deck. This Gallimon alt art looks like really fire, though. Like, they do some good job with some of their art. Like, even some of, like, their more basic art, like, they still have just a ton of, like, visual flavor in them. Like, compared to a lot of other games, where it's just like a magic card just looks like a magic card. Like, there's nothing special about anything that's going on there. But, like, with Digimon, there's so much going on inside of the art sometimes. So I'm at 3 Shout Superiors. If I do want to see any more of one super or secret over the other, it definitely would be the Shout 7 Superiors. Like, you definitely want to see more Superior than Darkness. So usually when I put them in boxes for the time being, I'll literally just have the rares on top of the uncommons, shove them in the side, and then the commons will fill up this. So this is usually how I pre-store my boxes before I start sorting and organizing them. If anyone's, like, actually that curious. Come on. Shout 7 pulls, I am 3 for 2 on Shout 7 Superiors. So I have 3 Shout 7 Superiors opened versus 2 Darkness Bagras out of the 5 boxes I have opened. So I have opened a secret in every single box. I'm not expecting that trend to stay. If it does, that would actually be very interesting. And then I do have a whole bunch of extra goodies at the end, like the revision packs to open as well. So anyone who's made it this far into the video / stream, just know I do have revision packs and pre-release packs to open as well. Oh god, this pack just does not want to be friendly. Let's just slide you out. Oop. You made it this far. I appreciate anyone who makes it as far as they do into my videos. I know, like, in the wave of TikTok, short form media is, like, the go-to. Hey, another Shout 7 Superior. Okay, so I've seen 4 Shout 7 Superiors. Nice. And I appreciate anyone who actually watches the vast majority of, like, my content to the end. Considering my content is more mid to long form. Like, I know podcasts kind of fall into, like, its own subcategory, because most podcasts are long form content, but it's, like, a different style of content. Like, I've been trying to, improve how I've been doing some of my videos and the topics that I'm talking about. So I'm trying to just always make what I can better with the resources that I have access to. What are the ratios? So you only need 2 Shout 7 Superiors for the Cross 7 deck. And I do think, as of, like, this set, Cross 7 is definitely the better cross deck versus Merva. Just because, like, there's actual support for using Cross 7 and using all of the different crosses. Versus just limiting yourself to some of the best and cheapest crosses. Gallimon is the first SR. Not bad. Hey, there we go. So there were 2 followers. So, Kawaiza, thank you for the follow, and, Juice Wants Juice, thank you for the follow as well. Man, a lot of new followers. So, am I the first person doing a case opening? I saw some people already opened up booster boxes and booster packs, but I don't know if anyone's actually opened up a case just yet. That would be cool. I've never been the first at anything. I mean, like, in the content race first sense. Sweet. Yeah, my LGS, like, surprised me. And they were just like, hey, do you want to pick up your stuff? Like, I was talking to them about pre-release stuff, just because, like, I like being as involved as I possibly can with my main LGS. I do go to a couple of other LGSs, but those are less frequent, just because they're farther out. But my main LGS I was talking to, and they were like, hey, do you want to pick up your stuff, like, now? I was just like, I don't have the money prepared right now. So it took me by surprise that, oh baby, alt art superior, double superior box. This alt art is so good looking too. I know my camera's not doing it any justice, but wow. That's gonna be a hot card. But yeah, so, I usually pick up my case, like, a day or two before the actual release, but the fact that they had the case on pre-release, I was just like, oh, hot dang. That was kind of nice. And they were nice enough to let me pick it up now. Greymon, always good to see. I need to make sure I have enough Greymons for everyone. I have a buddy who really likes Greymon. And I think the Greymon deck just does get better, so it is a safe investment for him to make. But he just likes Greymon because it's his favorite Digimon. I already bought a new camera. It wasn't super expensive, granted. It's like a $40 webcam. But I just recently made that purchase when I built my computer, which is what I'm streaming off of. That was my Christmas gift to me, was building a brand new computer. Computers are expensive. Equipment is expensive. And YouTube does not pay me nearly enough to cover some of the costs to want to try to upgrade. So I have to take that stuff very slowly or do it for as cost effectively as I can find it. Oh, I almost thought that was an alt art. I don't think Chaos X has a alt art. Oh, you're getting, there's a Greymon Vitality Bracelet? Dang. I still have my OG Vitality Bracelet. I haven't used it in a while. I only have 2 dims. It is the Pulsemon dim that it came with and the Vmon dim. I don't know if there's like an actual market for the dims. But it's a shame that my Vitality Bracelet, because it's like OG Gen 1, isn't supported for anything. So that made me sad, because I was going to be using it a lot more, and then they just killed off the support for the newer models. So I was just like, cool, that's money I'm not going to be reinvesting in if they're going to keep doing that. How far am I? So I am just about halfway done. So there's 6 more boxes left to open. This box was pretty spicy, having the alt art Cross 7 Superior pair up with the super rare Cross 7 Superior. So that was kind of fun. But with a full playset of Cross 7 Superiors and 1 Alt-Art out of the way, I am kind of just curious to see how the rest of the set, or not set, rest of my pulls is going to develop. Because theoretically, I should start seeing more Darkness Bagremon and get one of his Alt-Arts before I start getting into the RNG territory. Because when it comes to the Alt-Arts, sometimes they are just random. Yeah, Generation 1 was definitely more of the toy/prototype. I don't regret exactly getting the original Vitality Bracelet. It's just, I don't feel like I want or need the other ones. Like, I could still use it as its own little standalone thing. But it would be nice to do all of, like, the fun and kooky stuff that they've been doing with the other Vitality Bracelets. But I'm not going to be spending the money on that. Just because I don't exactly have that money to spend on that. Even though, like, I think they're not super expensive anymore. Definitely not the $70 I paid for that Vitality Bracelet. But I just, it also doesn't support my phone, for all of the new stuff that they were doing. So I'm good on, relaxing on the Vitality Bracelet. I thought about collecting the Dims, just because I thought they were kind of cool. But I just decided not to. I have to pick and choose my battles. And I do have a card game to support and video games that I also like to play from time to time. Yeah. Like them scrapping the app and making new apps and all that stuff. Speaking of apps, I always see this question pop up every now and then on, hey, Alt-Art Tai Kamiya. That's pretty dope. He's good looking. I just love how clean these are. But speaking of apps, I always see the fact that people want a automated simulator. They want, like, the Duel Links or MTG Arena or Pokemon Online. And I think while that is good, I still think that the card game itself is still too young for it. So, Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Can get away with those just because their clientele, so to speak, or all of the people who are interested and invested in the game, already are interested and invested in the game. So they're not losing anyone to it. And I think, like, Digimon, because of how young it is, could be in that, like, risk factor to lose physical sales to digital ones. And that could put the physical game in jeopardy. On top of the fact that I think that people also don't understand how video games are made. Hey, there's the Darkness Bagremon I was expecting. So, video games take time to make. Right now, Bandai is working on one for Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super is about 5-6-ish years old. So it has a couple of years on Digimon. It has its own dedicated fan base, not only just because of the Dragon Ball IP, but because of people playing the card game for so long as well, that they're starting to do it. And Dragon Ball Super, their app isn't done or out yet. It's been known in development for about a year. So I'm expecting that to be a whole nother at least year to 2 years before that actually gets released. And assuming the same developers are going to transition to doing a Digimon one, Digimon is going to take years for their automated simulator app to get made. So anyone who's expecting a digital sim is in for a long wait just because of how game development works. And this is just from the making aspect. I'm not even talking about like business aspect and like pre-production aspect. Just because the business side of things, like there's a lot of meetings that need to happen in order for it to get greenlit. They're gonna have to go through multiple pre-production ideations, and all of that takes time. It's not just some instantaneous thing that people think of. And same thing with like an engine. Like just because Dragon Ball Super gets made doesn't necessarily mean they could copy and paste for Digimon and speed up the Digimon production. Nexus 2164, thank you for the follow, and Ed8877, thank you for the follow as well. Where was I? Yeah, so just getting it greenlit is going to be its own battle on top of the production side of things being a secondary battle. And the other thing people aren't thinking of is upkeep. So usually they're going to need an upkeep team, which usually is smaller than the actual development team. But they are going to need dedicated people to, you know, update the game and continue development. So there's just a lot of different factors that people are taking for granted, ignoring, don't know about, into why Digimon doesn't have a, digital version. Plus the cultural differences is another thing. There's just a lot of reasons why we don't have a digital client, and it'll take years before we get one. As far as how the case is going, Ed, so far it's so good. Everything is normal, which is exactly what I like to see. I haven't seen any outlandishly terrible pull rates. So far, my secrets are acting normal, which is good. So I'm enjoying the set quite a lot. Right now, because I'm halfway through, I am kind of just turboing. Just going to the end and then sorting out the uncommons and commons. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's done. That's done. These last 2 packs don't have anything spicy in them, so let's just get them out of the way. Yeah, like Bandai's also doing a lot of other TCGs, which is another like huge factor in terms of digital development for something. Because what if they want to support One Piece before Digimon? Or what if they're making like their own Shadowverse or something? I don't know. Like, I don't know all of the inner workings at Bandai to say much of anything. I just think that people who are expecting instantaneously a digital client, they're really silly. How many alt-art tamers so far? I pulled 2. So I pulled a Tagaru and a Tai Kamiya. So I think those are 2 of the better ones. I don't exactly know which one's like super hot at the moment. I just know if you're like a Blackwargreymon player, the Tai is like borderline mandatory. And then same thing with hunters. I just know that the Tagaru is like mandatory. But I got 2 alt-art Gallantmons so far. An alt-art Emperor Greymon, an alt-art War Greymon, and then an alt-art Cross 7 Superior. So those have been some of my my pulls so far. Yeah, plus there's also been no announcement for Digimon even getting a digital client. And if people are still looking at, like, their manual client that they used for Worlds a total of once, like, they're really silly. They're being really silly. I think the real chase is gonna be the alt arts. Yeah, the alt art tamers I think is definitely gonna be some of the real chase. Because so far I haven't seen a whole lot of them, and I'm on box 8 right now. And I've only seen 2 of them. So I think like some cases will probably just have more than others. Because like I said, usually when it comes to the alt arts, that's like the most random part of the cases. And so far mine has been kind of okay. Arrestor Superior. Nice. I'm surprised. Does Arrestor Superior have an alt art? I don't even remember. Oh, I forgot to look after 4 boxes what my super rare pulls were. Oh well. It doesn't necessarily matter after 4 boxes because I already know what my ratios should be by the end of the case. And I'll show that off. Yeah, like, just because they could have an engine to be able to make the, like, digital TCGs doesn't necessarily mean that they're just going to copy and paste. Like, they still have to make a full brand new game out of the engine. So if they developed their own engine, which I think they'd be silly to, but some developers like to do that because they know their own proprietary tools, and they keep those tools proprietary, like the Resident Evil engine. Like, just because they have an engine doesn't necessarily mean that the game is going to be this instantaneous thing. But I would play the ever-living crap out of, Union Arena if they did have a digital client for that. Like, Union Arena is definitely, their take on Weiss Schwartz. Like, they're definitely trying to capture the same people. And I actually think Bandai has the potential to, like, kill Weiss Schwartz. Just because I'm not a huge fan of how Weiss Schwartz plays. Don't tell my friend, one of my friends from college, he currently plays Weiss Schwartz. Don't tell him that. He'll get really mad at me. But yeah, like, if Union Arena comes out in the States, I think that has the potential to be pretty big because, Bandai has the reach to get a whole bunch of anime properties. Like, a whole bunch. Like, Bandai's actually a pretty big company. And, like, sometimes that works out in their favor, and then sometimes it's just like, come on, you're bigger than this. Like, you're not some small indie company. You could do better. Part of it is I think they don't know what better is. So, like, just because we have an idea and it's actually, like, really good doesn't necessarily mean it works for them. Beelzemon? I feel like I haven't seen a whole lot of Beelzemon X's, actually. So, he might be the SR I'm, like, shorted on. Which, I'm okay with being shorted on Beelzemon X antibodies, just because the deck only needs 2 of them. So if I end up getting, like, 6 Beelzemon X antibodies, I'm not going to be, like, super sad. There's the other Darkness Bagremon. So I think I've opened 4 Darkness Bagremons so far. Which means I should be seeing the Alt Art Darkness Bagremon pretty soon. And then I don't know if I'm going to see any more secrets. I might see one or 2 more of each. But again, I don't exactly know. I just knew I was going to get a full playset of both of them. Hey, Wargreymon. Does Darkness Bagremon fit into Dark Knightmon deck? You could play him in Dark Knightmon. I don't think he's, like, bad. The only thing on why you wouldn't play him in Dark Knightmon is the fact that you don't need to play him in Dark Knightmon. Dark Knightmon just wants to basically be this, like, Undying Knight. And changing him into Bagremon to have a vulnerability to then get deleted and you not getting any value getting your Digimon back is kind of like the big reason why you wouldn't run him in the deck. Now, you could do some really spicy things, because I don't think he's a Twilight. No, he's not a Twilight either. Because the deck also cares about Twilights, and now you're changing it to be a Bagra army. Hey, there's the tie. Or the Takado. So that's my third Alt-Art Tamer. So I might get one of each in the booster box. Or in the case. But yeah, so you don't necessarily want to give up your biggest strength just for a card like Darkness Bagremon. That's why the deck hasn't really ran Bagremon either. And you could try to do some cute and cheeky things with Darkness Bagremon, just because he has an on-play effect. So, like, I've seen people in Japan do, like, Kaiser Nail shenanigans with him, but that's because everyone tries to do Kaiser Nail shenanigans. Emperor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're at our 7. We're at our 2. So these last packs won't have anything. Oh, not a problem, Upskill. Like, I think Darkness Bagremon is still a pretty decent card in his own right. He just is part of a not super great archetype. But people will try to find a way to break and make him busted. I'm actually not super excited for the reprint set. But that's just because I am in a more privileged position because I already have almost every card in the game. So obviously I don't need the reprints, but that's just me, and I do like the fact that they are doing the reprint set. I personally would have liked them to split the reprint set, so that way you have the reprints that everyone wants, and if you just need the reprints, then boom, there's just the reprints. And then I like the idea of having the brand new cards be in its own little separate sub package. So that way a person like me who already has everything I would want doesn't need to get more cards of cards I don't need. But that again is just me. And it's going to be harder for me to now get the new stuff because Japan had a problem with their box pull rates having more of the reprints because, you know, there was actually more reprints than of the new cards. Ah! There we go. Izumi Ryu, thank you for the follow. Wow, I'm getting a lot of new followers. I still don't know if I'm going to be playing in the regionals as of right now. I'm signed up for it, but work might say otherwise. Just because I am scheduled to work on Saturday morning from like 6 to 2. Which obviously interjects with the time in which the tournament is being held. So it's going to be unfortunate if I'm unable to play. But my plan B is to just hit up maybe a pre-release or something. If I'm unable to play in it. Just take my 3 losses, bow out, get my prizing, and yeah. I could try to play at work. But if work catches me, they will not like that. And my internet at work will be, like, absolutely horrendous. Chaos! I actually hope I get the least amount of Chaos X's. Just because, like, nobody I really know is playing the deck, so I don't need to give out any extra cards. I think he's not going to be, like, super high value. So it's not like selling him will be worth it. So just having a full playset in my playset binder and then a couple of extra cards to play around with for my Machinedramon deck would be nice. Hey, a second tie. Okay, okay. No Marcuses, like no alt-art Marcuses, but the second tie is nice. I'll take that. I'm the only Digimon channel doing pack openings right now. That's kind of nice. I will definitely take being the first to the arms race. I know, like, a couple of other people, they were opening maybe a single box, but not a whole case. And I know people also were hitting up Target to try to get some packs early for the Targets that do that. Not all Targets do that, by the way, because the Targets operate mostly independent of each other, and, like, they have their own chains and sub-chains. So, trying to go target hunting, I don't find very enjoyable. I just asked my LGS, and here we are now. For alt-art tamers, yes. I got a Tigeru, a Takato, and 2 Tai Kamiyas. So I'm currently at 4. I'll do the full breakdown of everything at the end, including separating the alt-arts. So don't you worry. Oh, double alt-art. Okay, so this is exactly what I thought. Now we're reaching double alt-art territory just because they've already reached my 4 Shout Superiors and my 4 Bagras. So I'm expecting these last boxes to have more of the double alt-art pack booster boxes. Yeah, and then I have a Takato as well. So somewhere I should see an alt-art Darkness Bagra. It's not guaranteed, but I should mathematically see one. So that means I have 3 alt-art Gallants. That's pretty dope. I almost have a full playset of alt-art Gallantmons. Am I printing a picture with the case and the alt-art tamers? I might. Because the alt-arts, the thing is, they are kind of random. So I don't necessarily know if you're guaranteed a certain amount of alt-art tamers versus normal alt-arts. I don't think that they would do that based on how they've treated just alt-arts in general in the past. But I know the set is kind of special with them. So who knows? We'll figure that out. And I don't have a secondary case to open to see, like, if there's an actual trend to it. So we're just going to have to rely on other case openers whenever they open theirs to see if there's a specific amount of alt-art tamers per case. But this is why I like doing case openings, is to start laying down the foundation for all of this data collection and data gathering. So that way I know what to expect out of these products. Like, there is a fun in taking the RNG out of it. At least in my perspective. Hey, another fighter mode. So I think we're done with the exciting stuff, and these should have nothing in them. Oh, nope, I lied. There was a Quartzmon hiding in there. I didn't count the supers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're done with the exciting stuff. So this last pack has nothing. Okay, let's put this bad boy away. Right now, you only have most of the starters after the first 6, except Beelzemon and Gallant, and a box and a half of RB1 and BT11. I think this is a good set to get, just because of the Hunter deck. Like, if you're just looking at picking up the set to be able to build Hunters, that's pretty easy to do. And I definitely think that this set is a pretty solid set to get in. Like, if you have the Gallantmon starter deck, like, the fact that there's a Gallantmon line helps. If you have the Agumon starter deck, theoretically you could start, or not really, it's not really an Agumon, the Gaia Force Red starter deck. You could start upgrading it with these, like, the red Blackwargreymon stuff. So, like, there's a lot of good support for just a lot of legacy stuff while also trying to still be its own thing. I think, obviously, purple is literally mostly just Hunters and Beelzemon. Show the Gold Cross 7 Superior. I have not opened one, unfortunately. I hope to. That would be nice. Being the first to do a case opening, on top of pulling one of those gold/silver cards, that would be absolutely fire. No guarantees, though, but I am crossing my fingers that I see one. Whenever they say on their website, like, low pull rate, they actually mean low pull rate. Like, usually it's about 1 in every 4 cases or something silly like that. So it is actually a low pull rate. This box, I hope. I have faith that I'll get one. Yeah, everyone channel your Spirit Bomb energy into my RNG. That I get a gold cross 7. Because I also still have these to open up for the Omnimon. So there's how many of those? So I get 12 of these packs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm probably going to get at least 1 of each. Mathematically, I should get 2 of each. But the Omnimon wild card definitely will be interesting to see what the ratios are on there. And I don't know if it would be like that per case, because these are placed inside of the booster boxes, and they're not like dash packs. So there might be some, like, pseudo-seeding based on, like, pallets or something. Or just how they're coming off of the press. Hey, All Force X. All Force X is another card I want to see the least of. Like, when it comes to the super rares I don't want to see. Just like that. Wow. 2 X antibodies. Actually, I find it really funny. Chaos, All Force, and Beelzemon are all X antibodies that are supporting decks that are not inside of the set. I just realized that. Are both packs in the box? Yes. So both of these packs are inside of the booster boxes. So when I open a box, these are sitting right on top before any of these. When they did dash packs, like, and had them separate, those were actually seated. You were guaranteed in that, like, container or case of the dash packs. to get exact ratios. Hey, Alt Art Marcus. Heck yeah. I know somebody who's going to want that pretty baby. I think this card is, like, probably the card to get because of how good Shine is going to be later on. So, like, if I see this card for, like, ridiculously cheap, I'm just going to be buying it en masse. Like, not to try to, like, enforce buyouts, but, like, that's the kind of things where it's just like, okay, if anyone undervalues this card right now, pick it up because it's not going to be undervalued later. It's McDonald's color. I don't like identifying things by food. I'm sorry. Although, it was funny. I did just try, Doritos, ketchup and mustard flavor. So, I am gonna have to say I liked the ketchup Doritos better than the mustard Doritos. But that's because the mustard Doritos tasted like wasabi. With, like, a hint of mustard. And there was actually no real mustard inside of the Doritos, obviously. But my coworker brought it in, and he's just like, yeah, we'll just have fun eating some, like, wacky... He brings in all of these, like, weird flavored chips every now and then. He's pretty cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're 6 SRs in, and we still have a another alt art / secret. Is that Imperial alt art or regular? I've gotten all regular Imperial arts. I have not gotten alt art yet. Oh, baby. Alt Art Shine. That looks absolutely fire as well. Again, my camera's not doing it justice. Grand Kawagamon is so anti-lore. What do you mean by anti-lore? He digivolves off of Dino Beamon. And there's the last super. So that's what, my 5th or 6th alt art tamer? Oh yeah, these have nothing. I already know they have nothing. You got qualms with Wormmon? I mean, that's fine. I'm not a huge Wormmon fan either. No offense to Ourymon. Like, it was cool seeing him go Stingmon, but, I don't necessarily, like, favor the rest of his line. So we have 2 boxes left to go, chat. So, under, just to put pressure on the rares so they don't curl, and then off to the side. Whoa. I mean, Bancho Sting is pretty cool. He's not, like, my favorite Digimon. I do like the Banchos. I think the Banchos are neat. I mean, granted, Bancho Leomon is, like, my favorite Digimon, so... Well, I guess now he's my 2nd favorite Digimon. Lugamon has stolen my heart. And I know borderline nothing about him. I need to go back and start reading the rest of Seekers. I read 1.1 and 1.2, but I know they've released more chapters since then. What I actually did was I listened to it at work like it was an audiobook. So I literally copied all of the text and threw it into a text file and ran that through a text-to-speech like text-to-speech program, and then I just listen to it at work. Granted, it's always funny hearing robots say Japanese names incorrectly, but they try their best. I'm curious to see what the rest of Lugamon's line is going to look like. Because right now, I know he's, like, the good boy on his rookie. Then he's, I can't believe you're not Nargacuga, which is a Monster Hunter monster. For those who have not played Monster Hunter. And I'm curious to see where he's going to go. He's going to have, like, a bipedal version. Somewhere in his evolution line. Like, I know it. Like, he's gonna have his Ourymon, and then I don't know if he's gonna turn into a dragon at the end. Like a wolf dragon, almost like a Zinogre. If they literally just do, like, Monster Hunter rips on all of his evolutions, I would be 100% okay with that still. I kind of do like the, like, certain effects activate from the hand. I think that's pretty spicy. Like, it shows that they have enough room and space, card-wise and effect-wise, to be able to expand certain elements of the game. Like, we've seen the first introduction of, like, hand effects with Cyberdramon from BT10 for Blue Flare. So it's nice to see that they sparsely use it every now and then. Same thing with effects that happen from the trash. I think if they do too many, and depending on how they do it, it could be, like, really powerful, though. Yeah. Oh, there's the Alt-Art Darkness Bagramon, so I figured he was going to be showing up. I've only been saying it for a while. So it's nice to see the Alt-Art Darkness come out. So that means I shouldn't see another secret unless it's another Alt-Art. Or the special foil one. Are there more quadrupedal or bipedal megas? I have not been keeping count of that, so I have no idea. I want to say I feel like there's more bipedal than quadrupedal. So, like, if they literally pull, like, a Bancho Leomon, out of Lugamon's Mega, and have the, ultimate be bipedal, I'd be okay with that also. Like, I'm just curious to see where they're gonna go with him. I still need to design a playmat for him. Because I designed this playmat for Gamamon that everyone loves. Like, I get compliments on it still whenever I play online. Just because, like, of how good it looks. And I do, like, I don't label myself an artist. I would label myself as a designer. So I just have some decent graphic design skills. And I really like playing with the positive and negative space of things. Just because that is something fun and not a lot of people do it. Like, let your imagination fill in the rest. Chaosmon X antibody for Lugamon confirmed? No. I mean, they're still pretty early in the story for Seekers. I don't know exactly how long they're going to try making that story go. But I know it's supposed to be like this multimedia, like cross-promotional thing that they're trying to do. I don't know exactly how successful that will be, but they're trying it. Most things you just can't, like, make multimedia out of the gates. Like, I think maybe if they had, like, an anime to go with the story, like, the story be the prequel that leads up into the anime, and then just have cards all about it sprinkled throughout, like, I think that would be pretty fire. Ooh, Alt Arts Davis. Alright, now we're hitting the tamer block, with all of the Alt Art tamers. We saw some spoilers from BT14. Aegis Tamer. Has that... The art has been shown, not the effects. Although the interesting thing is Lugamon, we do have some information on him, on the fact that he's a dark animal, and he is a SR. So he is going to be a mandatory 4-of for the deck that he's going to be made. He's probably going to be like my first dedicated purple deck. Like, I have purple decks built, but I wouldn't consider myself a purple player. And he's going to basically turn me into a purple player. But we'll see how strong his deck actually is. Alright, so we're down to the final booster box before we get into the fun stuff. So this is the last box, last chance I have at a nice, fancy silver or gold card. So we got to pour all of our energy into getting a silver or gold card from this booster box. Okay. I guess the packs just were really weird. Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe weird packs are a good sign. Darn. So far, pack 1, nothing. God, that's bothering me. There we go. Thank you. At least these packs are easier to open. Sometimes the packs are pretty hard to open. Not, like, insanely hard, but, like, my usual methods don't work first try. Like, these just almost fall apart. They're like butter. Nothing here. Great Maelstrom, I think is, like, I think this card is going to replace, Kakaitis Breath. Like, for any blue deck that's just looking for big removal card, I think Great Maelstrom is actually going to hardcore replace, Kakaitis Breath. Gallantmon. And it's kind of weird thinking, like, 12 sets later is when they, kind of power creep / not power creep Kakaitis Breath out. What does Great Maelstrom do again? So Great Maelstrom. So Great Maelstrom is a 9-cost option. When you would use this card from your hand by placing one of your blue Digimon to the bottom of your one of your other blue Digimons, you could reduce the cost by 3. So literally just tucking a source underneath your Digimon makes this cost 6 instead of 9. And then you get to return one of the opponent's Digimon, doesn't care about level, back to the bottom of their deck. So Kakaitis Breath is 7, and just bounce anything back to hand. Oops. Where this, you get to increase your sources, reduce the cost so it's cheaper, and it puts it to the bottom of the deck so more decks have less access to whatever card you're removing. It's just strictly better 9 out of 10 times. Like, I think Beelstar would be the only one that actually cares about Kakaitis Breath and that's just because it costs 7. So, like, imagine that in, like, a Gabumon deck, where you just get to throw a Gabumon underneath your big Digimon. Which actually could come in handy, because now, with Gabumon X Antibody, you could start reinvesting in your sources. So, I'm not saying that's good and that's the intended use. I'm just saying, like, if I were to run a big hard removal card, that's probably going to be the one that I would run. Either that or the X Antibody one, just because I think that one costs 5 when you use it with X Antibody. But it is more limited on what it's removing, and it's bouncing it, not returning it to the bottom. So, pros and cons. It's just any Digimon, regardless of level. So, it's just a generic tuck. Like, I think that's easily one of the best commons to come out of this set. Oh, here's another Altar Wargreymon. And another Takato. So, I don't think there's going to be anything else super special. Wargreymon and Takato. Those are the alts. All force. So unless like the gold foil takes up a super rare, I think I didn't get it. I don't know. I've never pulled one of those high rarity cards before. So I don't know exactly what slot it does take up. I generally would think it would take up a alt slot, but it might not. This case, all of the Gallant and Greymon love? Yes. This case had a lot of Gallant and Greymon love, which I'm okay with because I like both of them. I think if I had to pick one, I probably like Gallant a little bit more. Like, I know Greymon's stronger, but like, Greymon just feels kind of basic to me. And Gallant just has more personality. It might be because he's a Royal Knight, or it just might be because he's a better Digimon. I don't know. So, did I hit 7 of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I am so far 1 short. So, one of these last 2 packs has the last one of this, unless it's a gold card and it replaces one of these. Which I wouldn't be upset with at all. So, I'm saving that pack. Okay, so, this last pack has the last super rare card, or potentially the gold card. This is guaranteed a super rare or the gold card. Alright, let's take it slow. Agumon, Mercurymon, Yasayamon, Footmon, Vmon, Greymon, Guilmon, Jetmerva, Lamp, Burgers. Nope, it's Arrestor. Okay. We tried. No super special gold card for me. That is unfortunate, but not unexpected. Oops. Missed, Aldemon. Get back under there. Alright. So, before I go into these ratios, let's go ahead and open up these to see what these ratios are. So let's put all of these over here. And let's start cracking these bad boys open. Because these technically are part of the case. So, this girl... Oh god, I'm terrible at these. Pull straps are not my friend. Ourymon, he's the level 4. I know the green one has a level 5, but the green one's line is pretty bad. Like, it's actually kind of bad. Bam. Ourymon. I guess he's another level 4. Oh, this is aegisdramon. This is how you get foil arresters. Speaking of arrestor. Okay, so you get 3 level 4s and 3 level 5s. That makes sense. Another Tawar. Are these all? Well, some of them are uncommons. Astamon. Or Astamon. I think it's Asta. Another Greenie Boy. You don't want to see the Greenie Boys. He's easily the worst card out of all of these. Arrester. I think the common ones might actually be, like, somewhat worth something. Just because the uncommon ones, they will have a pre-release version. LA Vista. Yeah. So I think, like, the most valuable one is probably going to be Ourymon. Unless people really just don't want the pre-release stamp, then the others are going to be hot. So far, no Omnimon. And I haven't seen a Shoutmon yet. So it looks like these are actually random. Can I get an Omnimon in the close? Nope. Okay, so I got no Shoutmon and no Omnimon. So, these are random. Which is fine. Oh, now let's take a look at these bad boys. I'm terrible at sliding them. Let's start with this one. 3 Arrester is good, though. Yeah, I'm not complaining about that. Pulse and Hisaru. Okay, so they're both foil this time. So, no one foil, one non-foil nonsense. Get a playset of Imps. Mathematically, I should see a playset of all of them. But I think these might be random if these are random. So, there's one Imp. But we'll see. I mean, like, if they could seed the fact that I got 4 of each SR and 1 of each alt art, they could easily seed these as well. Ah, packs flying everywhere. Alright, so I need to stop seeing Ourymon. Please. Okay, good. Ourymon. Finally. I got something good. I think, like, the funny thing is, Yellow just got the shortest end of the stick. Like, all of these are, like, absolutely fire, except for Ourymon. Although, like, Ourysmon's not that bad, because he's minus security tack. Like, he's still playable. He's just not insane like these. Was the case already opened? Yeah, I already opened up everything. And right now I'm opening up the box toppers and seeing what the ratios on the box toppers are before going into the full like spread and breakdown of everything that I opened in the case. But all 12 booster boxes have been opened. Okay, so I got a full playset of Impmon so far and a full playset of Harrismon. So far, everything is tracking like it should be on getting a full playset of each of them. Until Harrismon comes in and ruins the day. No! That means I'm gonna have to buy one. Or two. I got a full playset of Imp, and then I got a full playset of Blukamon. So, I want this to be these. Almost. So, I need to get 2 Pulsemons and 1 Doru and 1 Huckmon in order to have my full playset. But theoretically, I got more than a full playset event. Like, theoretically, this is what should have happened. But looks like I was correct, and there is some RNG to it, in which you will not necessarily guarantee a full playset of any particular one. As you can see, I'm over on these and under on these. I'll get into the revisions pack and extra stuff at the end. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything that I opened from the case and do a nice full spread of it. Will I be uploading this on YouTube? 100%. Emperor Quartz. Do I not have a Greymon? I don't have a Greymon pile. I don't have a Beelza X pile either. Gallant. I guess normal alt and then tamer alt. There we go. And then secrets will go at the tippity top. The fun part is sorting. That's just a secret. Okay. Altar Tamer. I did not get as many Shine Greymons so far as I thought. But we'll see what the actual spread is at the end. Shine Greymon. Alt. Normal. So far, that was like the most hype box. Was getting 2 Cross 7 Superiors out of the same box. That was easily the most hype moment. I got a lot of Gallantmons. I think this box really loves Gallantmon. For whatever reason. Like, I got a metric butt ton of Gallantmon. I think he's the SR I have the most of. Alt, Superior. I mean, there is some RNG to them. like, to these. Which always makes case openings fun, just to see, like, in a perfect world, you could see where things fall, but not everything is a perfect world. If I got a whole bunch of Quartzmons, I don't know if I'm going to be happy or sad. Because I am seeing a lot of repeated Quartzmons. Alright. So, Alt Arts Tamers. I got 2 Ties, 2 Takatos, 1 Marcus, 1 Davis, and 1 Tageru. So, is that all of the heroes? Hold on. So I'm missing one of him. Okay. So I was wondering if I got at least like one of each of the protagonists. And I did not. But alt arts are usually random. So I got how many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7. 7 alt art tamers. Oh yeah, I don't have any Taikis either. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got 9 base or 9 other alt arts. So just for the sake of the experiment, I got 7. So I got 7 other alt arts. 3 of them being Gallantmon. 2 War Greys, 1 Emperor, 1 Shine. So I think outside of the secret alt arts, which normally you're like guaranteed, in quotation marks, guaranteed one of each. 7 and 7 seems to be the split. So that is something to, like, that is actually something noteworthy. 7 Digimon alt arts, 7 Tamer alt arts. Obviously because they, like, this is just my case scenario. That could be different. So we'll find out, more information, as more people open up their cases. I definitely pulled a butt ton of Gallantmons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Almost every single box I had a Gallantmon. I had 11 Gallantmons. So let's do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ugh. Short on Greymons from 2 full play sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 full play sets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So on the low side, in the middle, on the high side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 full play sets. So 7, 7. We'll just shove these over here for right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're in the 8s club. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the 9s club. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in the 7s club. Okay, so obviously I got a lot of Gallants. I got 11 Gallants, 10 Quartzes, 9 Arresters, 9 Fighters, 8 Chaos X's, 8 War Greys, 8 Emperors, 7 Shines, and 7 All Forces, and 7 Beelzemons. So, I mean, obviously I know I could start distributing them to make it even to where they should have been, mathematically, but that is my current spread. Usually the average is you're going to see about 2 playsets of any given SR. I still have a pre-release to attend, so I might get like more SRs Hopefully I get some of these. Just because this is a little on the low side. I probably would have preferred to have more shines. I don't necessarily care about being short on the Beelzemon and the X antibody just because, like, these aren't 4-ofs. This is a 4-of. This isn't a 4-of either. So I would have liked to be short here. So all in all, I don't necessarily think it was that bad in terms of, like, a case goes. Let me just... There we go. And then I did see the exact secret ratios that I normally do. 5 Bagras and 5 cross 7s superiors. One of them being alt arts each. So that was normal. Which is good. So that way I know now I don't need to buy any of these. But it's always weird saying like, oh, I opened up a case and then I'm still looking at buying more cards. So I guess now is the time to go to the fun stuff. So the fun stuff, I have a pre-release kit, unopened. Then I have the 2023 revision packs. And I even have some pre-release packs. So I don't exactly know what's in here. So we're about to find out. Right after I clean up all of this. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. If there's one thing to take away from this case is it really loved Gallantmon. This case specifically really, really loved Gallantmon. So let's go ahead and put a full art Gallantmon at the very tippity top. Boom. So I guess let's first start off with this before I get into the revision packs and other stuff. Because I have 1, 2... Oh, that's pre-release pack. Duh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 revision packs. And then 4 of these on top of this. Okay. So, there's still more to open. Yeah. Earthquake, I know. Oh, okay. So, it literally is just a thing. It's the folder that comes with more pre-release packs. All of the entry Stingmons and a Magnamon. Or Magnadramon. Okay, so I guess I have more of these. Cool. This means I don't have to try hard during pre-release because I already have one, so I'm always the winner. So let's go into the revision packs, just because I think these are going to be, like, some of the more special stuff. What are Gallant pre-release hits? Is it Growlmon and, I could take a look. So, oh, these are just... So as far as Gallantmon pre-release cards, boop-a-doo. You have the Digimon. I think it's literally just Digimon as far as the egg. Yeah, it's just Digimon. And then you have Takato. and that's it. You have, so for pre-release pulls for Gallant, you have Digimon and Takato, and that's it. Everything else is common. Oh, dope. I didn't even realize. Okay, so I got Omnimon X antibody. I didn't realize. Oh, right, because the X antibody was spelled incorrectly. Imperiodramon Dragon Mode. So I wonder how these are going to be seeded. Okay, so SR, SR, U, rare, 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 uncommon, uncommon, common, common, common. Oh, cool, the promo Kursari. Common. Oh, SR. So, this is weird. I don't know if they're literally just random, or if there's, like, actually a seeding to it. Based on what cards are in flux. So, I guess let's open up a second pack, just for the sake of the experiment. Yeah, these are all... So, it is... there's 48 different types of cards in here, and I think each pack has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each pack has 12 cards, and there's 46 total cards in the revisions. And these are all of the cards that have not already been reprinted that had an errata on them. So yes, these are all misprints that are now being fixed. So I actually like these because I have SRs in not foil. So these are going to be my preferred cards to play with. I also don't know if these packs are seeded or not. So we're about to find that out. So that's pack 1. So SR, secret, rare, 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 uncommon, uncommon, common, 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 promo, SR. So I guess for the sake of this, it would be like this. That's how they would treat it. So you are looking at about 3 high rarity cards, 3 rares, 2 commons, or 3 rares, 2 uncommons, and 4 commons / promos, because there's a promo here. I guess if I had to label it promo. So let's go again. Yeah, these are all prior to BT12. Okay, so we see the Omnimon again. Okay, they are fixed. So these packs are fixed because these are all the exact same cards as they are here. So Omnimon, Imperial, Goldramon, Uamano, Seedramon, Magnadramon. So is it literally just between these? No, there should be a third one, right? So yeah, there should be a third different pack. Okay. So that makes sense. So I have yet to see the third of these packs. So I think they're seeded all the same, like this. And then once you see the top card, you know what they are. So Omnimon, Imperial, Goldra, rare, 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 uncommon, uncommon, common, promo. Wouldn't it be 4 seeds if there's 46 cards? Yes. I'm really bad at math. It's all the same pack? Okay. Oh, Black War. Heck yeah. A not foil Black War. Okay. So, there's also alt arts. I'm totally forgot they had alt arts. Oh wait, no, the Hydramon's normal art. So, here's another pack. So, Black War, Aegisdramon. Oh, baby. Rare, rare, rare. Uncommon, uncommon. Common, common, common. Promo. Oh, so they're re-releasing these as well. Okay, okay. This is fun. Like, this is exciting right here. So I guess in a case scenario, you would get you should get a full set of all of the packs, I'm guessing. Was one of these a secret, or were they just all SRs? These are all just SRs. Okay. Because I wonder if each one would have a secret. So it's secret SR, promo, rare, 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 uncommon, uncommon, and then 3 commons. Got it. Okay. This is exciting. Science! For science! Huh! Okay, Blackwargreymon pack. So, Blackwargreymon, Aegisdramon, Raiden, here, and here. I don't know why they bothered to redo the Lobos. I guess they just... Maybe it's just all of them? I don't know. That's weird. But I'll take it. I need to get more of these. Like, this is actually fire. Okay, here's the last one. And of course I'm out of space. Let's do some consolidating. So actually, I could consolidate it, so it's just the different packs. So I'll put the promos at the bottom. There we go. And then the top card here was... So you have the Blackwargreymon pack. Then you have the Omnimon pack. I believe this one was aegisdramon. You have the aegisdramon pack. And then we have the Ourymon pack, which the Ourymon pack, 1, 2, promo, rare, 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 uncommon, uncommon, common, common. So I think the promos are supposed to technically be common slots. But this one's short on SRs just because of the higher amount of rares. But still, this is the Ourymon pack. So I think they're all going to be the same, and those are the 4 different packs that you're going to see. Ancient Garurumon back? I could try. So here's another Ourymon. So this is easily the worst of the packs, obviously. So what you really want to shoot for is probably the Blackwargreymon pack. Like, this is already just fire. So I need to find a way to get more revision packs. Omnimon. So Omnimon's not a bad one either, just because Omnimon X is still just a decently good generic card. But I do think the Blackwargreymon pack is easily the strongest of them all. So give me another Blackwargreymon pack and I'm happy. aegisdramon I don't think is that bad either. Blackwargreymon. Hey. Okay, so I got how many Blackwargreymon packs? So I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 Blackwargreymon packs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 Omnimon packs. 2 Ourymon packs, and then 1 aegisdramon pack. So if I had 2 more packs... Yeah, there's not, even in a case scenario, if they gave me 1 per box, I still wouldn't have a full playset of all of these. But maybe, because, like, I do have a full playset of Goldramon. Like, so some of them are double dipping. Because wasn't Goldramon in here as well? Yeah. So Goldramon, which is already worthless, is going to be even more worthless. The aegisdramon pack isn't that bad. But what you want, so like these are the two good packs. If you see them, you're sitting pretty. These are the bad ones. And it's not even saying like they're that bad. Like Ourymon is still a really good card. So is aegisdramon. And then you get Hydramon with aegisdramon. So like there's still value here. Then you get Promo and Goro, even though he's like not super hot. And then here you get Promo Ruri. Or Ruli. So that was a fun experiment. Slams warping down. Yes, I 100% would like these revision packs having not foil versions of these cards. I want to play with these. These are the cards I want. Although, which one had the Blazing Memory Boost? I need more Blazing Memory Boost. I needed more aegisdramon. Whatever. And then I got pre-release packs. Okay, so should I open the pre-release packs or should I save them for prizing for my tournament? That is the real debate here, because I don't need to open these. I could for the fun, or I could save them for prizing. What do you want me to do, chat? Because for the most part, the video portion is going to be done. I think that the case behaving like normal is definitely nice. I really love the revision packs, just because they give me the cards I want, not only with the correct text, but in not foil, so they don't warp. Open and sell the Aguni and Burning Grain pre-releases? I could. Because how many pre-release packs do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12. So I have 12 pre-release packs exact. So that means that pre-release kit comes with 8, and then I had 4 separate. I'll hold off on opening these, just because I want to decide what I want to do with them. But yeah, so as far as the video portion, I think this box is good. Not only just from a deck building perspective, because it has lots of updates and upgrades, but just because, like, you have a deck that you could build right out of the box. It only takes about, like, realistically, probably 3 to 4, but if you get really lucky, probably 2 to 3 boxes to be able to start to build something for hunters. You just have to see aegisdramons, and you just have to see Quartzmon as like your high rarity cards. The box toppers, they are random. So as far as what you're going to be getting, they're random. Alt arts, they're going to be random. The trend that I found was 7 actual alts, and then 7 tamer alts. So that might be just their going trend. I don't know. We'll have to see when more people open up. And then super rares performed pretty much exactly like normal. You're obviously going to see like perfect world, 2 playsets of each. Not perfect world, kind of something what I had. An abundance of 1, and then just a nice healthy spread of all of the others. Secret rares, they performed exactly as I thought. 4 of each each secret rare, and then 1 of each alt art of the secret rares. So it's just good to see the boxes behave like they normally do. I unfortunately didn't pull any gold or silver card. Those are one in a couple of cases. So my case just wasn't one of the lucky few that had it. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. I hope you found this informative, you learned something, and I will see you in the next video.